Hey there everyone, this is Nick Ads, and today I'm not gonna say founder and CEO at Hitgoc because you all know it, right? You all know that I run a company, I ran a startup, so it's basically an IT service company, right? Where we develop modern full stack web applications and mobile applications. So this was it about this sort of introduction, and from today now onwards, uh we're gonna just stick to hey there, this is Nick Ads. And welcome back to our YouTube channel, Learn with Hitgoc. Right, and today, yeah, so this was something yet about the introduction part, right? So this is where we're gonna stick to now onwards, right? Anyway, so coming up to our current video content, so it's gonna be that till now we have been doing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, just the core fundamentals, and we have worked with various methods, arrays, objects. I've showed you some examples, and we have worked with CSS, animations, and forms, something like that. Basically, the front end part, right? So, in my opinion, I guess I have told you the basic or the core fundamentals of what web development, front-end web development to be precise, right? So in today's video, we're gonna apply moreover our skills in designing a web page, a static web page basically. So it's gonna be a part of front-end web development as well, right? So this is a Figma template that I found on web, right? It's called School Solved, simple HTML template code for school community. Not community, but community could be the addition of this, the version. Community means it's open source, right? So what we have here is a basic template, right, with some different parts, like we have navigation bar at the top, then we got hero section, then we have another section, then another, and at last we have footer, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with navigation bar and the footer first, then coming back to hero section, and then all the other sections, my bad. Yeah, so without wasting any time, let's get started, right? So for that, let's just create a new folder on your desktop, right? Let's call it school website, something like this. It's up to you the name. I'm going with school website for now. Open this in VS Code. I guess I already have it opened. Maybe I was working previously with it. Um, okay, yeah, that's the folder. So this is the school website folder, right? In here, we can create an index.html file, right? And yeah, style or CSS file as well for the CSS classes. Right, we're gonna use CSS classes for it, right? And yeah, let's go. So hit exclamation mark shift plus one. You'll have a basic code for basic setup basically for your HTML document. We don't need these meta tags as of now because this is taken by default by the browser, right? So title could be again school website. And one more thing I want to tell you guys that uh, where we're gonna divide this the playlist, or we can say the videos, in parts, right? So today in this video, so that it becomes short for you guys to cover each topic, right, or each section. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna uh, design the we're gonna design each part each day, right? So we're starting with, in today's video, uh we're gonna design this navbar first, and then another day in another video we're gonna shift to footer, and then hero section on another day. or another video, right? Something like this. So we're gonna work in parts. Cool. So in this body tag, let's create a div, right, for our navbar, and we're gonna, okay, I'm gonna use comments over here. Let's say navbar code, something like this, in order to give you guys some reference, like where we are working, because writing the whole code in one HTML file, it's quite a, it becomes messy, right? So make sure to just apply comments, right? So we got div, and then this div tag, okay, we can give it some ID. Like ID is still, it's just like that, right? It doesn't have, we're gonna use classes, and well, let's just remove it. Maybe I don't like it, right? So in this div tag, this is the opening, basically opening of the code block of the navbar, right? So in here we're gonna have nav, right? In this navbar, okay, we have, right, the, listen, the code for the navbar, it's basically divided into three sections, right? Not the code, but it has got three content, right? One is the brand name, this. Another one is the nav items or nav links. And third one is these buttons, two buttons, right? Login and join us. And apart from this nav bar is divided into two halves, right? As you can see that this background at the right, like right before behind this image, we have uh, a very light background, right? You can't even see it. It's kind of lightish, very light blue or very light purple, something like this, right? Divided, it's basically dividing the nav bar into two halves, right? So first part is brand name and the nav items. Second part is login and join us. So we're gonna do the same. We're gonna divide the nav bar into two parts, right? So at first we're gonna code for this part one. So here what we can do is we can, inside this nav, we can apply one more div, and we can call it, we can give it an ID of part one, right? And another div for part two, right? Cool. So let's work upon the part one first. So we got the brand name, right? For the brand name, we have what, h3 tag. I guess h3 tag would be fine. h3, okay. Yeah, I didn't open the live server. Let's open the live server, and there we go. You got it, brand name, right? Let's just copy this URL and paste it here. Cool, we got the brand name. And what else we can take? We want the nav items now, right? So for the nav items, we're gonna use the UL tags, right? Inside the UL tags, UL is basically an order list, and inside these UL tags, we can apply uh, these nav items, right? First is home. Another one is product, right? We got product, then pricing. Last one we have contact, I guess, right? Cool. So we got the UL tags over here. I mean, yeah, UL tag and the list items. We got the nav items over here. Cool. So, but you can see that design is not perfect, right? It must match like this. Like it has to be in a row, and all the items has to be in a row as well, right? And we don't want this bullets uh, at the starting of each nav item, right? For that, uh right, as I said that we're gonna use external CSS, right, CSS classes in order to style this page, so that it doesn't become messy, right? So for that, let's just link our style.css first. Inside this head tag, we're gonna open a link tag where I can give a relation of style sheet, right, and the href, the navigation or the path to this style.css, right? So yeah, our CSS is connected. Cool. Now we need to um, make it a perfect design, right? So let's head towards our style.css. Now what we're gonna do is mm, we can apply what we're gonna apply here is a class of navbar, right? So I'm calling it a navbar. So see this is a hierarchy, right? So this navbar, we're gonna access the nav elements, I mean the nav tag, and this part one id element using this class navbar. Let me show you how. Right, head towards your style.cs and here write down the class, the navbar class, right? And now in order to first of all, we're gonna remove the bullets from the nav items, right? For that, let's access the ul tag first. So how you can access the ul tag? It's simple, right? Dot navbar, then we're gonna access the nav tag, nav element after this class, and then we're gonna access this part one, right? And for that, use hashtag part one. That's all you would do, right? After this part one we have accessed, then we're gonna access ul, right? You see this hierarchy, this is a top down approach. So top level we have navbar class, then we have nav element, then we have hashtag part one id, I mean part one id, then we have ul tag again, right? So in order to access the ul you need to have this sort of approach, right? So make sure to just practice it down. Now we can as we have the ul access, now we can apply list style to non-property, save, that's all, right? So we have no bullets now. Okay, so this was it something this was about the how we can remove the bullets. Now I want them, these elements, I want them in a row basically, right? For that I'm gonna use display flex in the ul itself, because you know ul got children, right? So the children of ul tag are basically home, products, pricing, contact, these li tags, right? So if I apply flex to this ul tag, all the children, basically all the child elements inside this ul tag would come in a row. This is how flex works, right? So hit save, we got it, right? And we can apply some gap in it, right? Some sort of a gap, maybe 20 pixels, right? So that's pretty much fine. Okay, cool. Now what we want is we want this brand name and these nav elements in a row as well, right? So for that, let's just what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply flex to this div part one, right? So what we can do here is either above it or below it, wherever you may like. Just apply again the nav bar, then we're gonna access nav, then hashtag part one. That's it. Right, here we can apply display flex property, and boom, there we go. Also, as you can see that this brand name and these elements are quite a not aligned, with the baseline, right? So it's kind of, it's kind of down, it's kind of up. Nav items are kind of up, right? So in order to fix this, we're gonna apply align items center property, right? So they are in the center now. Cool. Okay, we got the brand name, we got the nav items. Now let's have a look at the design. Now we are finished with the part one. Now it's time for the part two, right? For that, head towards your HTML, head towards your part two div. Right here we have two buttons, right? Type button first. We have login, right? Another one we have is join us in uppercase, right? And a symbol of a right arrow, right? So let me just extract the right arrow symbol. Let's just copy it down. I don't know the shortcut key for it. It was something alt plus 8945, something like this, but it didn't work out for me. I don't know why. Anyway, so we got the buttons, right? We got the buttons. Okay, it has to be in a row. For that again, okay. Uh, Pay attention over here, guys. Like this brand name and these nav items, basically part one and part two. These has to be in a flex, right? So like you have to find a parent div to these two divs, right? That's nav over here, right? If we give flex to this nav tag, right, these child elements inside this nav tag would come in a row, right? Something like this. So what we can do here is navbar nav display flex. That's it. Cool. Again, this property items align item center. Cool. Also, we have some sort of a gap in here, right? We have a gap here, but you know, instead of giving gap, I think like this is inside a container, right? This as you can see here, that this brand name and hero section and these three cards, each and every element, starting points, except this one. I don't know why. There might be a mistake or something by the designer. Right, each and every content we see here, the text content or anything, it's starting from some width after the starting point of the window, right? So we have some sort of space at the left and at the right as well. So basically it's inside a container. The whole body content is inside a container, right? Except this background color of this hair section, right? So we need to apply the container as well. For that, okay, we're gonna apply the container after we finish with the styling of this login join us button, right? So yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're not gonna apply gap in between the part one and part two, but justify between property, justify content space between. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I used to work with Tailwind basically, so it has classes like justify between. So it's kind of habitual of saying justify between. Anyway, so yeah, this is justified space between, right? Now what we can do here is we need to apply the container, right? Okay, before, yeah, let's apply the container first. So in order to apply the container, okay, we simply can't apply the container to the whole body, right? If you must say that apply the container to the whole body, make a div and just give it a container class, something like that, we can't do it because you know we don't want this background color, the lightish light green background color of this hero section to be in a container because it's kind of occupying the 100% width, right? So the content that we have inside the container of this hero section is this text content, right? Online training, 25K plus students, trust us, something like that. These two buttons. So we don't have to keep the background color inside this container, and for this as well, this background color behind this image, it's lightish blue or lightish purple, I don't know. So yeah, for that we're gonna create two classes, container and container wrapper, and wherever we might see the possibility to you know put the content inside a container, we're gonna put it, right? So irrespective of this background color, right? So yeah, so when it comes to this navbar, we can apply the we don't have some background content over here, so we can apply the container to the whole navbar body, right? So let's wrap this div inside two divs. So why am I doing this? Because one class is gonna be for container, that's gonna give it some width, right? And one is gonna be for the container wrapper, right? So let me just show you how we can use container class first, and then we'll head towards the container wrapper. Okay, so we have, I'm not gonna use, I'm gonna make it to top level. Container, we can give a width of 1100 pixels, right? Hit save. Yeah, so as you can see that this navbar is shrunk to 1100 pixels width, right? It's not occupying 100% width of the screen, but 1100 pixels. So it has left the space somewhere here behind, right? So but it's not in the center, right? So in order to align the items, the container body at the center of the screen, we require another class that's called container wrapper, right? Where we're gonna give flex and justify content center in order to center the content. So what we can do here is go with container wrapper, right? Container wrapper, we're gonna use display flex justify content center, and we're gonna apply this container wrapper class inside this parent div, global parent div. Hit save. That's all, right? So it's in the center. Now we can complete the styling part for it, right? You have the container classes. So in order to basically put a content, some content inside the container, just wrap that div inside two divs of container class and container wrapper class. That's it. So coming up next, the styling part, right? So the styling, first of all, the font family, let me check the font family for, I guess the font family for each content over here is quite same, right? Looks similar. Let me just check the CSS of it. Font is Montserrat. Cool. So font family Montserrat, let me just google the so by default we don't have the Montserrat family in the browser or in the code environment that we are working on, right? So for that, maybe we can download the TTF file, right? The I don't know what's the full form of TTF. It's type text font file, something like this. I don't know, I don't remember, but or we can use a CDN for it. So I'm gonna use a CDN for Montserrat font CDN, right? So Google Fonts, Okay, I can see the download family part. Okay, we got the TDF file over here, I guess. Yeah, true type font file. Cool. So the full form for TDF is true type font file. So we're not gonna use this the font files basically, right? But I need some sort of CDN for it. Content Delivery Network. Maybe I'll find it here. CDN fonts. Cool. So. Okay, got it. This one, yeah, this must copy, right? So in this link tag, I can just paste it, right? Okay, that's all you have to do. Now in here, we would find the, yeah, can apply the font family like this. Let's copy it down. And so, as you can see, the font family for each text is, I guess, Montserrat only. Yeah, it's only Montserrat. Yeah. So I'll shift towards giving it a global font family body. I'll hit paste. Yeah. Hit save, and that's all you want. Yeah. So it's been, you know, converted into Montserrat sans serif. Cool. So that's it for the font family part. Now what we can do is, okay, I see some, difference in font weight as well. What font weight it has? So 700. S3, I guess S3 tag by default gives 700. Let me just check. Let me just give it an inline CSS 500. Okay, 500 is normal, I guess. Yeah, for 700, let's go with 800. It's quite bolder. 700, yeah, S3 is taking 700 by default, right? So I'll not change the font weight here, but if we talk about the snap items, we have the font weight 700 again. Come on. So we got the 700 for them, and we have 400 for others. Okay, we have variable font weights. Okay, cool. So we must apply font weights to these nav items as well, right? So for that, these are the UL tags, right? So here we can apply font weight of 700, right? Hit save. Oops, that's pretty bold. Okay, we have some different color as well, right? We have this color code, secondary text color. I don't know what it's, lightish gray, something like this. We can apply, oops, color like this. Cool. That looks good. I guess font size is also different. Font size, it's 14 pixel. Okay, I'm gonna get 14 pixels font size as well. 14 pixels. Is it similar? Just a sec. It's a bit it's a bit small. Okay. 14 pixel. Let's stick to 14 pixels. Right. So we got the brand name. Let's take the font size of brand name as well. It's 24 pixels. Um okay, I'll leave the font size for brand name. We're not we must not go deep inside the font size and CSS, that that's something you guys can manage, right? So okay, coming up next, the login join is okay. Let me tell you one thing, guys, that this login and join is button, that's basically not at the, it's kind of, if I border it down, this nav, right? You must see the pixel solid red. You guys must see that this login join is buttons, these are basically attached to the end of the flex, right? but it's not the case in the design, right? It's kind of at the center of the second part, right? This is the second part starts from here of the navbar, right, and ends here, right, and it's basically at the center of the second part div, right? So we have to make it center, right? It's kind of 50% width of the total width, right? So for that, what we can do here is uh let's access this part 2, right? We can do it by typing navbar nav hashtag part 2. That's it. And we can basically give border to see the to get the reference, right? We got 2 pixels blue, right? So what we can do here is, if I, so by default it doesn't occupy width, right? It's taking just the width of the elements together, right? If I apply 100% width, then it would take the width from here till the um till the part 1, I guess. But why is it, it must take the whole navbar width? Okay, we got the div here as well, right? So that's why it's not taking the whole width. So this is something like this, right? We have divided it into 2 parts, right? So if I remove this width part, as you can see that it, the basically the div 1, the part 1 ends here, right? So this is the full width, this is gonna be the full width for the part 2, right? Because the part 1 is limited, right? It's limited till here, but the part 2 is gonna take uh the whole area, starting from here where the part 1 ends, something like this, right? So yeah, so if I'm giving width 100% over here, right, so it's taking 100% width, right? What if I give 50% width? Okay, now if I give the 50% width, it's quite taking the, you know, it's not, it exactly like it's not basically taking the 50% of this blue border, right? It's not taking the 50% over here, but it's taking the 50% of this div, right, the red one, because the width of this border, right, these 2 elements is irrespective of uh the board, irrespective of this the elements over here, the part 1 elements, right? Something like this. I won't be able to explain more, right? So just work upon yourself. Anyway, so we are at 100%, right? So if I make it 50%, we are at the 50% of the of this nav element, right? So now what we're gonna do is we have to center this login joiners button at the center of this blue border, right? So it's simple. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this div inside a new div, right? Or maybe what I can do is just, what if I give display flex and justify content center to only this div? Okay, it works because, guys, the width is 50%, and like this div has got some, children inside, so it can manage to basically justify content it. So rather than wrapping it inside a new div and then, giving width to the child div and then flexing and justify content center, centering the parent div would also work, but you can go with this. That's a short method. So yeah, it was some crazy part to explain, right? It was kind of hard to explain, right? So yeah, if you guys have any doubts regarding this, what I've explained it here, just comment down below the video, right? I'll explain you personally. No worries at all. Anyways, um, yeah, it's in the center now. So we got the login button, we got the joiners, and we got some gap in between these buttons, right? So what sort of gap do we have in here? We have a gap of 45 pixels. Cool. So part 2, we can give gap of 45 pixels as well, right? Cool. Now let's design these buttons, right? For that, first of all, let me check this login typography. Okay, it has this color, and okay, it has again the font weight of 700, font size 14 pixels, and we're not gonna use line height, letter align, something like this, right? So we're gonna stick to the main stylings, like the colors, right? So in order to access this button, the okay, as we have two buttons inside this div, so it won't be possible to basically directly accessing each button because we don't have any unique identification for it, right? So we can basically give ID. We can call it button 1. We can call this button 2. Right, now we can have the access. Let's copy down. We can call hashtag part 2 button 1. Right. We can apply the color. Color was this, right? Okay, cool. So all right, we don't want the border also, and the background color as well, right? So we don't want the border and background color has to be white, right? Cool, that's cool. And the font weight has to be 700, right? That's cool, that's cool, that's looking good, that looks perfect. And now comes the joiners, right? um okay, we don't have the border for this as well, right? But it has some border color, right? So color has to be white, right? No borders. Background color needs to be this. Font weight 700 again. Oh, button 2. Cool. And we want some sort of padding as well and border radius. For that, let me just check. Um, we got border radius of 5 and padding of 15 pixels, 25 pixels. 15 pixels, let me tell you, is um the top padding and the bottom padding, and 25 pixels is for the left padding and the right padding, right? So yeah, padding is 15 pixels, 25 pixels. Let me just show you the difference of the padding, right? Cool. And we got the border radius. Border radius is basically for in order to give the curves at the corners, right? Something like this. Okay, so this isn't responsive for now, right? So first we're gonna make it for yeah. First of all, we're gonna make uh it for the desktop version, right? And then we're gonna make it mobile responsive, right? But what I see here is login joiners is at the center, I know, but this little space at the right of the joiners button doesn't look nice. But it's as per the design. I don't know what to do here. Anyway, no worries. So I guess this image would cover up this space, the right. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the navbar, I guess. And yeah, if we talk about this sliddish blue background, this we're gonna do when it comes to when we'll make the hero section, right? So that's pretty much it for the navbar, I guess. We got the brand name, we got the font family fine, we got the um login, join us, right? This stuff that looks cool. I like it so much. But okay, let me just check the gap for this part one as well. Okay, it's 41 pixels, right? Let me just give a gap between these brand name and now items, right? So brand name part one, right? We need to give here a gap of 41 pixels. So let's make it 40 pixels. Is it fine? Is it fine? 10 pixels. Is it working? Okay, it's working. 40 pixels. Cool. This looks cool now. Right. So I found it attractive. Right. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's it for the video, and we're gonna see you in the next video where we're gonna make the design of the footer. Right. This. So it's gonna be an important part because it's quite a complex to probably we're gonna apply grid, or I don't know what we're gonna apply, but just stay tuned to learn how to make this footer using HTML and CSS. So yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next upcoming videos. Peace out.